Good evening, everybody. Today is Thursday, January the 25th, and you're watching FCN Prime News here on the Fifth Column Network. I am Tresene, editor of FCN1, home of news, politics, and business, and of course, your news anchor for this evening. Here at FCN Prime News, we aim to bring you your news from a perspective that matters most to you. No narratives, no fake news, just the facts and all of the facts. Tonight will be no different, as I'm going to be covering crime news as well as current events both domestically and internationally, including the breaking news of Trump's offer to let the Dreamers stay in America, but only in exchange for the wall being built on the Mexican border. With that said, everyone go ahead and hit that share button that's right at the bottom of this broadcast so that you can invite all of your friends and your followers to watch this episode with us. You don't want them to miss it in the conversation, so go ahead and hit that button. There's something here for everybody here at FCN Prime News, so let them get in on the conversation with us, all right? For all of my crime and law junkies out there, let's get into our news for this Thursday. First up, another school shooting in rural Kentucky. This past Tuesday, 16 people were wounded, 4 sustained various injuries, and 2 students were killed after a 15-year-old shooter opened fire Tuesday morning at Marshall County High School in rural Kentucky. The shooter was a white male. He had a handgun in school, and shortly before 9 a.m., he began shooting. The first 911 call came 2 minutes after the shooting began. The victims ranged between ages 14 to 18, and the victims being male and female. 6 of them were female, 14 of them were male. The shooter was taken alive, of course he was, and arrested for first-degree murder as well as first-degree attempted assault on the students who were just wounded. For those who don't know, the nation has experienced 13 mass shootings already. 11 of them have been on school property. This is just a reminder that it's only January the 25th. After an extraordinary day of 7 days of sentencing hearing, U.S. gymnastics coach and Michigan State University coach Larry Nassar was sentenced to 40 to 175 years in prison for the abuse of many, many women. Let's take a quick commercial break. Really, really quick, you guys. It's going to be brief. We'll be right back. We don't have any? Can we just go dark for a second? I can't see.
my face. The next question needs to be yours or my place. Your chocolate skin, your chocolate skin. Turn the lights low, don't let me tell you again. I wanna put my mouth on your chocolate skin, your chocolate skin.
Under the guise of giving them examinations or medical treatment. Some were as young as 6 years old. In November, he pleaded guilty to sexually abusing 7 girls. He has already been sentenced to 60 years in federal prison for child pornography convictions. Nassar expressed little remorse in his written statement to the court in the sentencing hearing. Here is an excerpt that drew bitter laughter in the courtroom. Nassar said in his written statement, "I was a good doctor because my treatments worked, and those patients that are now speaking out were the same ones that praised and came back over and over and referred family and friends to see me. The media convinced them that everything I did was wrong and bad. They felt I broke their trust. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. It is just a complete nightmare." What a sicko. The case and its ramifications are far from over. It's led to the resignation this week of the chairman and several board members of the government body of the Gymnastics of the U.S., which is U.S. Gymnastics. Last week, the organization cut ties with the private training center at a remote Texas ranch where some of the sexual abuse occurred. At Michigan State, where Nassar spent years on the faculty and treated many of its athletes, an outpouring of political pressure led to the resignation of the university's president, Lou Anna K. Simon. Ms. Simon's resignation may just have been the beginning at Michigan State as the NCAA on Tuesday formally opened an investigation into the university's conduct. A number of civil lawsuits have been filed as well. Overseas, a German nurse who allegedly killed his victims out of boredom has been charged with 97 murders, potentially making him one of Germany's deadliest serial killers. The nurse, Nils Hogel, is already serving a life sentence for 6 convictions, including homicide and attempted homicide. Hogel was previously jailed in 2015 after being convicted of 2 murder charges, 3 attempted murder charges, and 1 charge of dangerous bodily assault. Those convictions led authorities to investigate hundreds of deaths and exhumed bodies of former patients in the clinics where he worked. It led them to find those new 97 victims. He is accused of giving victims various non-prescribed drugs in an attempt to show off his resuscitation skills to his colleagues and bring some excitement to the job. In those past hearings, Hogel said he felt euphoric when he managed to bring a patient back to life and devastated when he failed. Police said the final number of murders may never be known because many victims could have been cremated. Speaking of killers, a former Ku Klux Klan leader who was convicted for the 1964 Mississippi burning killings of 3 civil rights workers has died in prison at the age of 92. Edgar Ray Killen was serving 3 consecutive 20-year terms for manslaughter when he died at 9 p.m. on Thursday inside the Mississippi State Penitentiary. An autopsy was pending, but no foul play is suspected. Killen's conviction came 41 years after James Chaney, Michael Schwerner, and Andrew Goodman, all in their 20s, were ambushed and killed by Klansmen. The 3 Freedom Summer workers had been investigating the burning of a black church near Philadelphia, Mississippi. A deputy sheriff in Philadelphia had arrested them on a traffic charge and then released them after alerting a mob. The killings shocked the nation. It paved the way for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the killings were dramatized in the 1988 movie Mississippi Burning. Killen was 80 when he was convicted of 3 counts of manslaughter in 2005. He was the only person to face state murder charges with those killings. In politics news, President Trump currently dominates it all today, starting with his arrival today in Davos, Switzerland, to attend the World Economic Forum. He's the first sitting U.S. president to do so since Bill Clinton in 2000. Trump, he was there to push his America First agenda, along with a large team of his senior aides and cabinet officials, of course, at this annual gathering of lots of the world's leaders and the business world's elite. Many leaders are hoping that Trump will flesh out his America First platform to show that it doesn't preclude cooperation with the rest of the world on some of the world's big challenges. The trip comes as Trump is under global scrutiny for comments he made about shithole countries in a meeting on immigration with leaders in Congress, and for policies on trade and climate change that didn't necessarily sit well with other leaders of the world. It also comes 2 days after Trump's administration imposed new tariffs on foreign-made washing machines and solar panels. Countries South Korea and China are both pushing back on the new tariffs and are likely to register complaints to the World Trade Organization, but the president and other administration officials will likely argue that their policies will boost U.S. growth. You know, a trickle-down economic policy of when America does well, then everybody else will do well too. Meanwhile, back at home in the United States, the White House announced its legislative framework to address the group known as the Dreamers and make other reforms to the U.S. immigration system. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said yesterday that the White House would offer compromise legislation that could bridge a gap on the issue between the House and the Senate. She did not provide yesterday any details of what would be in that framework. However, just a few hours ago, President Trump proposed legislation that would provide a path to citizenship for as many as 1.8 million young undocumented immigrants in exchange for, 1, an end to decades of family-based migration policies, 2, a massive border wall, and 3, a vast crackdown on other illegal immigrants already living in the country. People are describing this plan as being extremely generous. Others are saying it's really a take it or leave it proposal by the president. And the plan, which was drafted by Stephen Miller, the president's domestic policy advisor, and John Kelly, the White House chief of staff, it was immediately rejected by Democrats, pro-immigration activists, and some Republicans, describing it as nothing but a heartless attempt to rid the country of immigrants and slam shut the nation's borders. Others see it as an effort to sabotage bipartisan efforts in hopes of winning passage for, and I quote, white supremacist wish list. Speaking of white supremacy, China's government has announced a ban on hip-hop culture from its television stations and actors with tattoos. According to Time magazine, the State Administration of Press, Publication, Radio, Film, and Television of the People's Republic of China now specifically requires that programs should not feature actors with tattoos or depict hip-hop culture, subculture, and dispirited or decadent culture. The Chinese government seems intent on erasing all forms of hip-hop from the public. Although it has already been entrenched there and around the world, 4 years. Time reports that many on Chinese social media has responded angrily to the ban, but the government controls that too. There were 4 don'ts that Chinese media must now abide by. Absolutely, they can't use actors whose heart and morality are not aligned with the party and whose morality is not noble. They absolutely cannot use actors who are tasteless, vulgar, and obscene. They absolutely cannot use actors whose ideological level is low and have no class. And they absolutely cannot use actors with stains, scandals, and problematic moral integrity. Well, folks, it has finally been confirmed. After years of speculation, China really hates black people. In some different news, Bill Cosby took the stage Monday at a jazz club in Philadelphia in a rare public appearance just 2 months before jury selection is scheduled to begin in his retrial for sexual assault. Cosby, age 80, cracked jokes, played with a jazz band, and told stories about his childhood to a mostly friendly audience at La Rose Jazz Club for an event honoring musician Tony Williams. Cosby, whose appearance was billed as a special performance, was on stage for roughly an hour, but did not mention the looming trial. The appearance comes after a judge ordered on last Friday that jury selection would begin on March 29th for Cosby's retrial on charges that he allegedly drugged and sexually assaulted Andrea Castan in 2004. Cosby's first trial on the case ended with a hung jury in Pennsylvania in June. The jury was deadlocked on all counts after 52 hours of deliberation. Cosby's retrial comes in the midst of the global Me Too movement, highlighting sexual harassment and misconduct. Cosby's retrial was supposed to start November 6th, but it was delayed until March to allow his new high-profile legal team to get up to speed. His defense lawyer is Tom Mesereau, best known for representing pop singer Michael Jackson. Prosecutors said last week that they are asking the judge in the case to let 19 women testify against the TV star to show a pattern of predatory behavior. The judge denied that request, basically saying, "I'll let one." Cosby denies all the sexual misconduct allegations against him and has sued some of the women for defamation. He also contends his contact with Castan was absolutely 100% consensual. Speaking of Me Too, comedian and actress Mo'Nique continues to ride the wave of racial and gender discrimination with her push for a boycott of Netflix for what she says was lowballing her in an offer for doing a comedy special. Most recently, she's argued her worth by saying that she's the most decorated comedian alive and she's about to get all her alternative facts checked by At The Revolution. Let's roll that clip of that interview where she says that comment, and we'll be right back after that.
See, I couldn't accept that low offer because if I did, Heather B., I couldn't sleep at night. Because I am the most, and I say this humbly, I am the most decorated comedian alive. But if I accepted $500,000, what does Tiffany Haddish have coming? If I accept that, what does the black female comedian have coming? Because what they will say is, Mo'Nique accepted this and she's got that. So what do they have coming? And when you have women like Kim Whitley, Cheryl Underwood, Julie Chan, and the little girl from the real Adrian, and these are 4 women of color, saying Mo'Nique needs to just let it go. Mo'Nique needs to be humble. Maybe if she apologizes, they'll let her back in. And I would ask those 4 women of color, did you ask any of the white women to apologize when they said they were violated by Harvey Weinstein? Did you ask any of them to be humble? Did you tell any of them if you speak too loud, it doesn't mean you're right? No, they didn't. See?
Welcome back. I'm sitting here with The Revolution, FCN's pop culture anthropologist. He is here to talk about that clip, specifically that statement Mo'Nique said. Revolution, what you got for us?
Well, it was one of those statements that when you initially heard it, if you aren't someone who likes to fact check things, you would go, oh yeah, well, like, man, if she's saying it, it must be true.
Yes.
Because in this day and age, it's too easy to go get information
and receipts.
And so I was like, wow, that's something, So the something I said was, oh, that's some bullshit.
Why do you say it was? Why you say that?
Well, first of all, she qualified. She qualified alive, right?
Yeah, she did.
She qualified
She did say
alive.
that.
And so the very first thing that I thought of was like, okay, she said alive. Then she said comedian.
Yes.
You heard her statement. Like,
Yes.
Listen, it's not about putting words in anyone's mouth.
Right.
It's not about taste at this point.
Right.
It's not about, do I like licorice? Do you like licorice?
Right.
I think licorice is gross. You love it. It's not that. It's now we have gotten to the ground floor of something that we can actually legitimize.
And objectively look at it.
And so she said the most decorated.
Most decorated.
Now, I don't think that leads a lot of leniency to what decorations are. You know,
Right.
especially if someone is in entertainment or any field,
Right.
and they're talking about the most decorated. Myself having a military background, when you say you're decorated, you're already thinking ribbons
Yes.
and accommodations that you have received
Right.
in your time of
Right.
service.
Right.
So, with that being said, with Monique's time of service in the entertainment industry, Monique is saying she is the most decorated comedian alive. Not female.
Nope.
Not male.
Not
she is the most
race.
decorated.
That's right.
No race. I am the most decorated comedian alive. Now, so let's start there.
Please do.
If she were to say she was the most decorated black comedian alive, well, there happens to be a gentleman who you just mentioned in your news broadcast by the name
Mr.
of
Cosby?
Yes, Doctor.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. They didn't snatch them. Dr. Cosby?
He's Dr. Cosby.
Okay.
Please don't be disrespectful.
I'm
okay?
so sorry, Mr.
Okay.
Dr. Cosby.
Okay. His doctorates did not touch anybody, okay? Didn't roofie anyone. Can't take them from him. Dr. Cosby has 70 wins and 28 nominations.
Oh, in what? Like
Awards.
awards, okay.
His decorations throughout the entertainment industry.
Are these like
Monique has 56 wins to 25 nominations. It's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
That's impressive. Okay? But that's black. However, if we were to say black women, or let's just say women. Let's take the next minority group. Let's just say women.
Okay.
Just in women, she loses horribly.
Oh,
Probably,
horribly.
yes, horribly.
Okay.
Horribly.
Okay.
To probably, right now, she's arguably the head of this era in comedy, which is Ellen DeGeneres.
Yikes.
And Ellen has 86 wins and 70 nominations.
Yowzers.
Yeah, and these are legit wins and noms. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
What do you mean by that?
I'll get to that.
Oh,
I'll get
okay,
to that.
okay,
So
okay.
I said, okay, well, let's go as comparable as possible. Let's
Okay.
say black woman comedian. Let's just start there.
Okay.
Who's her next contemporary that she can even align herself with
Okay.
to say, hey, I'm as credible as that. But before we go into that,
Okay.
I'd like to talk about Monique's 56
Oh,
wins
please do.
and
Yes,
25
please.
nominations.
That's good.
She has an Oscar win for Precious
Yes.
and a Golden Globe win for Precious.
Mm-hmm.
She has a Primetime Emmy nomination for Bessie.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty much it, right? Now, hold on. I know what you're saying, like, but where do the other ones come in at? Well, the other ones come in at because of the categories.
Okay.
Now, of these other organizations, BAFTA, AAFCA, she's won, and everything that she's won in for the majority of these decorations have been for Precious. So she has won a Alliance of Women Film Journalists Award for Precious, special mention award winner. I don't know what that is. Award Circuit Community Awards. She won a BET award. She won a BET comedy nomination. BET.
Right.
Black Reel winner for Precious.
Okay.
Boston Society of Film Critics.
Oh.
That sounds very prestigious.
Yeah, it does.
And she won for Precious, and then for an ensemble cast. And let me qualify that. She has a lot of ensemble cast award winnings
Okay.
within this.
So that means she wasn't the lead.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
principal recipient of the award.
Okay.
Central Ohio Film Critic. Hey, Chicago Film Critic. Okay. There's some place I cannot pronounce. Chlorotortis Award. I don't know who that is.
The Clitoris Award.
Dallas Fort Worth Film Critics Association, Denver Film Critics Society, Detroit. Now you can't go wrong in a D. Okay.
All right.
You can't go wrong in a D. Film Critics. So what happens here is there are multiple wins from the small body Film Critics Association. That's what she has.
For Precious.
Overwhelmingly, the majority of these wins is for a dramatic role.
I was gonna say.
It's a dramatic role.
Any comedy awards in there?
She has one comedic nomination. Well, excuse me. She has 2 nominations: BET Comedy Award,
Okay.
Outstanding Lead Actress in a Theatrical Film for a film called Hair Show. Never heard of it.
Okay.
She has a nominee. 2004. That was 2005. She has a nominee for BET Comedy Award supporting actress in Soul Plane, and then she has BET Comedy Award nominee, outstanding lead actress in a comedy, The Parkers.
Okay.
She did not take home the awards.
Okay.
She did not take those.
All right.
So the closest comedic award that she had standing was those.
Okay.
Now let's go. The closest comparison that we have to her after my long exhaustion. It took me a long time to find this
okay. Who'd you find?
This comedian of Monique stature, of legendary stature. The only person I could come up with is somebody, God help me, is somebody barely passable for this magnitude of stardom. Her name is, let me get this right, Karen Johnson.
Karen Johnson?
Her name is Karen Johnson. It's a comedian by the name of Karen Johnson. So Karen has only 54 wins and 81 nominations. Miss Johnson, do you mind if I call you Miss Johnson, ma'am? Okay. Miss Johnson has won an Oscar, a Golden Globe, a BAFTA, that's the British version of the Oscars, a Saturn Award, that's science fiction. She's won an American Comedy Award.
Oh, okay.
For comedy.
She's won an American Comedy Award.
A couple.
Oh.
For comedy.
Oh, for comedy specifically.
Specifically.
Not a dramatic role.
No, for comedy.
Oh, okay.
She's won an Emmy, and this is one of my favorite awards for anyone out there that are real nerds. She won the Hastings Pudding Theatrical Award for Woman of the Year. This award is given out by Harvard. The Hasty Pudding Theatrical Society for people in the entertainment industry. It's a huge award. Okay. It is actually a very huge award. And Miss Johnson won this award. And Miss Johnson is, I think, don't quote me on this, but the only African-American actress to have an EGOT. There are
Holy moly.
Do you know what an EGOT is?
Yes, all the thingamajigs. And a Tony.
She's run the gamut. Most people that have EGOTs are actually behind the scenes. They're producers and costume designers and sound
and so they're
recorders.
Across the board.
They get to go across the board. However, Miss Johnson does have that to her credit.
Interesting.
She actually won awards for comedy.
Okay. Oh, yes, go Karen. I'm going to have to look into who
Please
she is.
look up Miss Karen Johnson.
Yeah.
She might not be on the radar of most people in America. That name just doesn't, resonate with a lot of people. It's not as flashy as you would say Spore or, Wanda Sykes. Psych, It may not resonate with a lot of people. Tiffany Haddish, she ready, But Karen Johnson in not just the African American circle, but just actresses and comedians. Can I say worldwide at this point?
Yeah.
I think we should look her up and celebrate her for Black History Month.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea.
But we should also make sure to know that your alternative fact, Miss Monique, has been completely debunked. You are not the most decorated comedian alive by no means.
That'll be Bill Cosby.
That would be
That would be Ellen DeGeneres.
That would be Ellen.
That would be. You know what's funny though? In my research, who would you say? Who would everyone say is easily the greatest comedian of all time? If just you ask someone, they say who's the greatest comedian. Who do you think most people say? Back there.
Yeah, I don't.
Pryor.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Pryor is one of the least decorated
Yes, he was.
comedians, but of his wins, they are significant wins.
Were they for comedy?
Yeah, comedy, writing, yes.
Yeah,
actual
yeah, for
display
comedy,
of
huh?
talent. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Yeah. I
Karen
hope.
Johnson, look her up.
Yeah.
With a Y. It's Karen with C. Aaron. There's a Y in there. There's a Y. There's definitely a Y in Karen. But it's with a C. It's not a K.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's go on to this other breaking news that happened
Oh.
today.
Ooh, you're gonna let me talk about
I'm going to let you
Vincent
talk
Kennedy?
about Vince McMahon.
Vincent Kennedy?
And yes,
Okay, we got a couple
make it
minutes.
quick.
We got a couple minutes. Okay, so actually today, Vincent Kennedy McMahon went live on social media across multiple platforms: Periscope, YouTube, Facebook Live, to give a major sports announcement.
Right.
This announcement was the relaunching, the reimagining, the rebranding
Yes.
of his now ending but brought back
Right.
a football league
Right.
known
Right.
as the XFL. He is coming back with the XFL in 2020, and he actually allowed himself to be fielded questions by reporters
Yes.
throughout
Yes.
of journalism and networks.
Yes.
Some very interesting takeaways from this.
Okay.
An SI.com reporter asked, would XFL be interested in a Johnny Manziel, a Tim Tebow, or a Colin Kaepernick?
Yes.
He said he was very clear in this.
Okay. What did he say?
He said that if they are a good character, they will be able to play in this league. He said that there will be no one with a DUI will be allowed to play in this league. And then he finalized that by saying he would like to have Tim Tebow play for him. So with that being said, if you listen to that, he was very clear in what he said, in my opinion. He said no one with the DUI, so that means Johnny Manziel is out. Right? Then he said good character, and then he didn't mention Colin Kaepernick. So, yeah. But the Reggie Mathis actually retweeted a really great journalist by the name of Bomani Jones. And he said, and don't quote me on this, but he said that if Vince is really about business, he would hire Colin Kaepernick and make him a heel of the FXL.
Yes.
I mean, it's smart.
Yes, it's very smart.
Listen, the NFL made its money in the exact same way that they made storylines and they created characters, they created superheroes, they create. Listen, you cannot tell me that there's a difference between Tom Brady and John Cena.
Right. Very real.
You cannot tell me that there's a difference between the great American Tom Brady and the all-American superhero, the Superman, John Cena.
Right.
However, Vince said that he will start all the way over. This is a reimagining.
Yes.
That there will be new teams, that there will be new cities, that this will be a whole different thing. He said he will not be in charge. Vincent said that he will get people who know what they're doing to be in charge of this. When someone
was he in charge of it its first go round?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Someone also asked him a very poignant question. Someone asked him, so what? Something to the effect about Donald Trump, and what do you think Donald Trump is? And he was like, well, listen, I don't know what he would say, which is a very good answer. He's like, I don't know what he would say, however, I don't have any affiliation. He has no affiliation with this league, and so forth and whatnot. However, I think people were trying to tie it into a Republican question, and his wife working for the Trump administration.
Right.
However, I don't think that that's what that was in that question. I think that the reason why that the reporter asked about Donald Trump was because of Trump's ownership into the United Football League, the UFL.
Oh, okay.
And if Trump, because Trump wanted to be a football owner,
right,
and Trump used to be an owner in the UFL, and so I think he was fielding a question there, and in addition to tying it in with his wife, with their former business ties, having him being a part of the WWE and a WWE Hall of Famer. So I think that's what that was. Vince McMahon seems to be poised to have a new brand in this consumer-based market of content.
Right.
I don't think the Reggie Mathis and myself had a conversation on Twitter where we both were naming people that were out there. Reggie said Facebook, YouTube. I believe he said Fox Sports 1 as potential people. And he definitely made a line. Reggie made a line going how the Ball family, has gone to Lithuania. They're in a sports league where they have gotten online viewership to 2.5 million, and it's just two brothers in Lithuania. So imagine, I'm paraphrasing Reggie, by the way. He said, imagine what you could do. The possibilities are endless of having this product with the machine behind you. And I completely agree. I think that it would be Fox Sports to get this. Due to the fact that they're already in negotiations with the WWE to change their home from USA Network for their flagship programming, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, to bring it over to Fox Sports, which I think would be an amazing coup for that organization, for Fox Sports and for the XFL. Nevertheless, I think that the market that Vince is bringing this in now, let's move the NFL off the table. Let's move it out of the conversation. There are so many content providers that want fresh sports. They've already done well. Fox has already done well with, what's the name of the sports league? Big Three. They've done really well with Big Three. I think that they're going to continue to do well, finding outside avenues such as the XFL to do programming with. What's this? Personality. Oh man, let me see.
Hey.
The Wilsonian has. Look at this. The jersey, throwback XFL jersey has been thrown in forces. Listen, nobody. This was clutch. This was absolutely clutch. Let me see. Throw me another one.
This is why we keep the Wilsonian around. This is why.
The demons. Oh my God. Look at that. These are. Wait a minute, these are premiums now, man. These are, oh my God, like you're gonna,
oh my gosh, he has so many.
You're gonna put one on? Put one on. Put one on. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I look better in purple. Okay. Let's hope my hair don't come down, okay?
Okay. Look at this, boy. This is XFL.
Okay, let's see, wait.
Oh man. I don't know who the Wilsonian cleared out.
Oh.
Who he cleared out. But
look at this. Hey.
Well, we got our XFL apparel ready to go. I don't know about you, but this is...
Hey, I'm excited. I'm
actually very excited for this.
Vince is an amazing businessman. I look forward to seeing the moves that he makes.
Yep.
So FCN can copy him. All right.
We're going to come out with a kickball league.
That's clutch. Write that down.
Okay.
Write that down. Okay. Kickball league, yes.
Don't
say that. All right, listen, we got to go. You know what's up next because tonight is Thursday. We got back-to-back programming. We're going to roll it right on over to True Ballot Thursday with J. Cole and the Reggie Mathis, and they're going to talk about everything NBA. Thank you guys so much for watching with us today. I'm Tresnay.
This is... Revolution.
You want to close it out, finish it?
No.
Okay. All right, we love y'all. Bye.